harder for him than it was for me. Because he's got pressure on a whole different level. And Baz goes out of his way to make the experience for actors and the crew as exhilarating, exciting, still challenging. He still pushes, but positive, you know. And he shields us from a lot of the pressure. It was hard, but you'd want it to be, you know. If it was all easy, then probably no one would go and watch it. I didn't ride cows. Just to be clear. I ran over a few cows. I definitely fell over a few and almost got run down by a couple of cows. But cows are very tricky, by the way. Cows are very unpredictable. And my horse at least 3 times ran into cows and we all went over. So it was one of the most exciting parts of the film, really, to work that closely with the horse, to have that relationship and to learn how to, beyond just learning how to ride and lassoing and jumping and all those skills, I was taught how to train a horse, you know. It was something I still ride now all the time. I loved it, but it was challenging. I actually think for most people the film will certainly be different. It does remind you of films like Giant, Lawrence of Arabia, Gone with the Wind. It has an essence of that, right? But if you look what Baz does with every film he does, Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare, but he made it accessible. The musical with Moulin Rouge, he made it accessible and different. And whilst this is, yes, an old school Hollywood sweeping epic, it's Baz. It's still different. I was in the movie, right? And I went to see it and I was like, it was different to what I expected. Baz always has a way of twisting things a little bit and making it seem fresh, I believe. I mean, trust me, I wanted to work with Christopher Nolan, Baz Luhrmann, Woody Allen when I began, but they didn't want to work with me. So it just probably took me a little while to get on their radar, so to speak. I mean, I worked with, the first film I did in America was with Bryan Singer, who's a phenomenal director, and helped me a lot. And then you know, in a way I've been lucky. James Mangold, who's also a very good director, who I worked with on Kate and Leopold. But the thing that surprised me the most was the first film I did gave me profile, but also kind of pigeonholed me as some action guy, right? That's the last thing I thought I'd get pigeonholed in, really. I trained as a classical actor, so it was Shakespeare, and then I went into musical theatre. I was kind of an oddity. And then all of a sudden I was doing action movies. So it only has been in the last 3 or 4 years, I think, that I've been lucky enough to work with a variety of great directors, and Baz being probably one of the greatest. I think I do feel Australian. I was born and bred there. I always feel like I travel the world now. I see Australians all over the world. I'm sure there's millions of them here in Spain. Wherever you go, particularly in a bar, the person behind the bar seems to be Australian to me. I don't know why. But Australians, we travel a lot. We're very outgoing, I think, and generally quite positive people, quite optimistic. Australia's, they nickname it the lucky country. There's great opportunities there. It's a fairly amazing place to grow up. It's a fairly happy country, and I think most Australians leave thinking the rest of the world's going to always be like that, and so that's how they perceive it. And yeah, you know, I have a little bit of stubble now, but I don't know if you've ever seen Australian babies. They're all born with stubble. It's a bizarre thing. So it's yeah, I think I am quite Australian. I wanted the cigar, actually, you know. It was very deliberate. It was an absolute homage. And Baz does that throughout the movie. There's references and sometimes very deliberate and obvious ones like that, sometimes more subtle ones, but there's references to so many different movies in there. Because Baz is a great lover and student of movies, so But that one was, I mean, when I watched that, I thought, oh, this is kind of like a boyhood dream come true, you know what I mean? I just wish I kind of had the gun and we had the cigar, and I mean, because I love those movies, but yeah, it's true.